Good morning. Happy Groovy Tuesday. Oh dear. I'll wait a few minutes. I know the start's always people to get going and coming into the room. So hope we're all well today. I can't it's such a long time since we was last here. Oh dear. I've really missed everyone last week. We had a fantastic time at our parchment retreat in Tunbridge Wells. So, and I'm sure there'll be lots of lovely names popping up that were there last week. So, hello. Hope you all got home safely and recovered. So, good morning, Anne. There we go. You can see people starting to come in. Lovely Hazel and Hilda. Good morning, everybody. Oh, dear. Where have we been? Yeah, a week. It's just crazy. Last week is now just a blur. And we had a fantastic time. Met so many lovely ladies and Ken, of course. It was a fantastic 4 days. Yeah, 2 days and 2 days, 4 days. So good morning, everybody. Good morning, lovely Karen, Mo, Pamela, Bernie. There you all come. Good morning, everybody. Oh dear. Groovy Tuesday again. Message from Jilly. Sound is good. Thank you, Jilly. Jilly, the lovely Jilly, is in the room with you today. And for those of you that were at the Parchment Retreat last Wednesday and Thursday, would have met Jilly. So if you've got any questions, just ask away. The chat's working great this morning. It did say that the chat wasn't working so well today. So I'm glad to see that it is. And if you've got any questions, I'll try and catch them. Good morning, Coral. Lovely. Oh, yes, loads of lovely ladies in the room. So yes, if you've got any questions, I'll try and catch them whilst we're crafting along today. And if I miss them, then Gilly will pick up, or you've got the lovely ladies from the design team in the room, and I'm sure they'll be more than willing to answer any questions you have. So a bit short on coffee today, so hopefully that will be arriving any minute now. But yeah. Oh dear, and breathe. It's going to be a nice chill day today, this morning. And I thought we're back to basics. The other week we did, we looked at the butterfly reef, didn't we? And we adapted it and we incorporated some of our other plates that we had in the collection. So let's have a look. So we started off with the butterfly reef that I know a lot of you already have at home. And we traced out elements of it, but we left bits out and we had all these empty spaces. So what we did was we took another plate. So when we have a look at these side by side, we've got the initial shape of the reef. And let's have a look. If I turn this way, there we go. We can see that we've got this one here, we've got this bit here, and we've got elements here. And we've just sort of infilled it with different bits. And what I did, it was hard to decide what plate I was going to go with. So I went with Barb's Christmas tree sample. I love this one. Oh, look, there's that Groovi tab. I wonder where that had gone. They get everywhere, these Groovi tabs. So I looked at this and I took a little bit from here and I took some little dots from there. And I just used this as an infill for the design. And I saw on Groovi Worldwide that a lot of you had taken other plates and I wasn't sure what I was going to put in the middle. So I sort of kept this one sort of, it's generic, but it can also be quite festive depending on the plates that you go with. So I took the Christmas tree plate, the beautiful heart sampler from Linda Williams. You could have taken pieces from that plate. All the little dots, you've got loads of little designs on here. So again, giving you choices and making you sort of go back and have a look at what you already have in your stash and incorporate it to change the different designs. Then I was trying to work out what I would put in the middle. Now, whether I wanted to put a sentiment or whether I wanted to put a heart. See, the hearts work lovely inside there. Or whether I go with a Christmas tree. Look, you've got 9 different Christmas trees to choose from. Okay, so you've got choices there. But I also know that a lot of you have purchased I like to call them the gnomes. Barb's Feel Good Gnomes. Look at these. These work perfectly. And I saw a sample on Groovi Worldwide. I can't remember who it was that had put a couple of the little gnomes inside there. So you've got the Be Good, Feel Good, Do Good. Or there we go. Be Good, Do Good, Feel Good. And then you've got the little Live Good as well. So you could pop any one of those little gnomes in there. Or you could put something completely different in there. Depending on what you use to infill the design, you could put, we've been looking at Linda's 1, 2, 3. We could take the butterfly. We could take the beautiful flowers. Anything can go in the middle. It's entirely up to you. But when we compare it to the plate just traced out, where's it gone? There it is, it's that one there. When we compare it side by side, you can see the difference. The same, but different. You see? So it's all about giving you choices and just playing. I mean, that's all I really did. I sort of threw myself a curveball the other week when we was doing this. I thought, right, it was sort of, should we do this? Should we do that? And I thought, you know what? Back to basics, keep it simple, but with a little twist. So, and it's nice to see what people have done on Groovi Worldwide and what they've come up with and how they've interpreted what we've been looking at. So I thought to keep it nice and simple, I was going to go with the Christmas tree. Okay, so now here comes the choice. I've got 9 trees to choose from. Decisions. Jackie, too many choices. Oh, for a librarian. I thought it said a librarian. But you could take bauble, as Hilda said, someone did a beautiful one with a bauble hanging from the middle. So that would be beautiful as well. It's all about having a look, but I don't know which tree I want to go with. Do I want to add some colour to my tree, like with this one here? Or do I want to go sort of arty there? I mean, for me, this is a really great plate for quick and easy Christmas cards. You've got 9 individual designs here that you can do 9 little cards just from one plate. Coffee has arrived. So, answers on a postcard. Which one shall I go for? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Should we have a vote on which one to go for? I think I know which one I want to go for. Top right, says Myra. This one. I was torn between this one and this one, a traditional Christmas tree. Number 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. Mo. Oh dear. Number 4. Oh, here they all come. Here come 7, 8. Jilly's is the middle, top middle. Oh yeah, that one. That one says Jilly. Oh dear, all these choices coming through. Number 4 says Hazel. Oh, I think I'm going to go with this one. I think Mo agreed with me and Bernie agreed with that. So I thought we would go with this one here. So let's have a look. That'll be really nice, I think, because see, that's what's great. Everyone's choosing different ones because there's 9 to choose from. And this plate, I just think is really nice and easy. Designed by the lovely Barb. And you can really see the style and the flair from it. So I reckon I'm going to go with that one. Now my parchment just about fits, but I reckon I'm going to get my plate mate out. So let's have a look. I want my 2-parter, my plate mate that Josie came up with in my folder. Dum, dum, dum. I haven't unpacked from the TV from the other week yet, from the Pokemon show. So I know exactly where I needed to find it. So I've got my little extender bars attached. There we go. I'm going to pop that around the outside. There we go. It gives me something to lean on now. Let me see if I can just, so much stuff in front of me. Let's pop that over to the back without dropping it all. There we go. It gives me a little bit more space now. I'll take a couple of Groovi tabs to hold my plate mate in place to there. This is great. The ladies at the parchment tree love this, and I'll tell you why a bit later. So I'm going to work on the back of my parchment. I can decide exactly where I want my little tree. See, if I go with this tree, I could also put a landscaping in the background. Ooh. I'm going to line up my parchment with the side of my plate. So yeah, I reckon just about there. A couple of Groovi tabs. Are we all good? Everyone okay? There we go. What are you going for? What plate are you playing with today? So I'm going to give it a wipe with the tumble dry sheet. There we go. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to miss out the little candles, I think, on the edge of the tree. So I've got my Groovi guard here to lean on. Let's see if I come in on this one. There we go. Yeah, that's okay, isn't it? I come up a little bit, down a little bit, left a little bit. Hang on. There we go. I'm going to take my number 1 tool and I'm going to trace out the outline. So have you decided what you're going to pop in the middle of yours? Decisions, decisions. So nice and easy, take it nice and slowly. And the number 1 tool is just pushing into the groove. And the reason I'm going slowly is because I don't want to jump out and pick up elements that I don't want to include in my design. Okay, famous last words in a minute, you watch. Trace it out. So when you think about this, you've got 9 different trees to choose from. And you don't have to do the reef. You could just do the square itself. And then just, you could Pico cut it or use our nested Pico squares to cut them out. See, it's the beauty of the Groovi system. So let's have a look. Do I just want the tree on its own? Yeah, see, I like that. The tree just on its own. But it looks a little bit floaty, doesn't it? So I think we need to put something in the background. Do I put a little stalk on? Yeah, look, I can take the stalk from this one. So let's, look, the magic of Groovi. Going to position that there. Oh, yes. Put the little trunk on. A little bit wonky. But there you go. It's growing at an angle. But hey ho. It's weird. But it'll do. You know what? We're playing, we're experimenting, aren't we? So we're gonna take this one out the way now. Too many Groovi tabs, all sticky. We'll put the Christmas tree to one side. And then let's have a look at what my plate mate from the starter kit. There we go. My extra Groovi guards so I don't lose them. And then also in the starter kit, you got the hills and the mountains. Perfect. So a sip of coffee. There we go. Seems to have a little frog in my throat this morning. So we've got that in place now. And just to keep it simple, let's have a look. I reckon, do I want the mountains to go above? I reckon I'm going to line that up just there. Groovy tabs, where are you? Excuse me. Right, before I do that, I'm just going to pop this just at a slight angle because I want to get that curve and I want the tree to be sitting on the curve. So I'm going to come in. Oh, what a donut. Look, I didn't check my plate. It's back to front. Turn it over so you can read the word groovy. Otherwise, nothing's going to happen. There we go. I'm going to turn that at that angle now. We'll plant the tree on the landscape. That's better. Oh dear, I don't think I haven't used a groovy plate before. And now I can have a look and see. So I could come over a little bit. I can go over that way. I reckon. Ooh. Should we keep it simple and just go straight in the middle? And I reckon I'm going to go just about there. Okay. And then I'm going to come from this side. Make sure you stop at your tree. You don't want to go through your tree. And I'm just going to stop at the leaf there. And we're going to go to there. Should I go either side of that little dot? Yeah. Going to come round. Stop at the tree. Take your time. And then, do you reckon that's enough? What do you reckon? I think that works okay. Or does it need another little, does it need something there for balance? What do you think? Decisions. Let's have a look. I could, see that, you can make your own heels. I reckon I'm going to put that one there. So you can have hours of fun just with the landscapes in the background. Yes, that works. What do you think? Let's take that out of the way so we can have a little looky. I think that does the job. Now, this is really throwing a spanner in the works for me. What's that? We need a moon, a full moon, a half moon, a star. Yeah, we could put a star on the tree, couldn't we? A moon, I reckon. So let's have a look. Let's have a look. Look, there's a star just there. So I want a big star or a little angel. No, it needs to be a star, doesn't it? I reckon just a little star. So put a little star on our tree. There we go. A little finishing touch, but this is bugging me now because I put this line in from when I was building, but it just looks as if I've stopped. So I need to put something on to that. So let's have a little looky. I wonder if I take that little curve. That's better. And then if I turn that round that way, I get, yes. Doesn't look like I've gone wrong now. There we go. That's completed that. I'm happier now. It's not, what's that underneath? There we go. Yes, I like that. So you can see how you can really change the look We created the reef. We've put a tree in the middle. I could have put several trees in by just doing parts of it. See, that's the great thing. I could have a little short tree. If I'd only done 3 of the layers, I could have a taller tree or a full-blown tree. Apart from the one wonky trunk, it doesn't look too bad. So what have you put in the middle? Have we got baubles? Have we got flowers? Have we got a tree? Or are you just watching? It was bugging you as well, Isabel. Yeah, I knew somebody would sort of zone in on that little area. It just looked odd, especially when I put the landscape in. See, I could create the landscape there, but you know what? Sometimes I could come over a bit more and join that up, but sometimes you need to know when to stop. And I think at this point, I'm going to stop. Okay, so colour. Do we want to add some colour? Do we want to add some white work? It's all about that bus journey. And I think where we've done these little dots, these tiny little dots, we could do some white work in those areas just to bring it out a little bit. And because they're tiny little dots, they'll be easy to achieve. So if I bring it round on this camera, I mean, they're almost white anyway, but you can see it looks like a little donut because they've got little black dots in the middle. So I think what we can do, and then we've got these larger ones over here, so we can infill some of those. And yeah, I think that's what we'll do. So we have choices. In the starter kit, we've got our black mat with hard on one side, soft on the other. I'm using the A3 black mat because it gives me that larger area to work on. But I reckon I'm going to go with my best friend, the pinky mat. So let's have a look. We're down here. So let's start nice and easy. I'm going to get rid of these Groovi tabs. Wow, the white work that people were producing at the parchment retreat, that was mind-blowing. And a little bit later on, I'm going to show you what the ladies got up to, and Ken, because I know lovely Ken's in the room as well. And to show with our brand new frosted overlay parchment packs. Barbara showcased them on her blog on Saturday. So if you want to know a little bit more about them, you can go and check out Barbara's blog and see what she was getting up to. But let's do a little bit of white work on these areas here. So we're going to start off in these tiny, tiny little dots. There we go. I reckon I'm going to come in here and I'm going to zoom in from above. So where am I going? I want to go in, so I'm going to go that way. Whee! Really close now. So we've got little dots in here, but they're not going to need much white. They're not going to need layers and layers and layers. Okay, so for this, for the small one, I'm using the number 2 tool that comes in the starter kit. It's got that tiny little ball just on the end. And all I'm going to do is, let's start, right, top tip. If you're going to go round and do white work, I'm going to put a Groovi tab to show where I've started. So that by the time I come all the way round, I know where I need to start again if I want to put a second layer on. So let's focus the area. And all I'm going to do, I'm going to go in and I'm just going to put a little wiggle. A little wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. I mean, you can see there already how it's gone whiter. And I suppose I've left this for 2 weeks as well, haven't I? So, yeah. But it doesn't, these little ones, these are really, if you want to practice getting the pressure, then these little dots are perfect for doing that. So if I focus within the square in which I'm working, I can do it in sections. So if I do everything that's in this little square, and I'm going to do these little bits in here as well. Look, can you see how white they're going already? Just gently wiggle. And this size tool is perfect for that. See, this is the type of white work that I like. No skill required. The only skill required for this is that you don't put too much pressure on and make a hole. But the pink mat, for me, really makes a difference. Okay. Excuse me. So let's have a look. So now I'm going to bring this up to the camera, see if I can stop it going blurry. Beautiful little white dots. See? So we're going to turn it over, working on the back. I'm going to do this little area here now. So do the little dots first. Now, do I want to put some white in here? I think so. So now what I'm going to do, just sticking with the tools, I'm going to go with the number 4. And this time I'm going up and down and left and right. Because it's a larger area, up and down, left and right, and then round and round. Up and down, left and right, round and round. Now these ones will take a couple of layers. I mean, you can see there how it isn't as white as the outer line. But that's fine because I've put my Groovi tab in place. I know exactly where I need to come back to. Now I've got some larger areas here. Do I want to do those? I'm going to put some colour in those ones, I think. So let's move around to the next area. I'm going to stick with the number 4 tool. Up and down, left and right, round and round, up and down. It looks like a little face there. Just needs a little mouth underneath. There we go. It's all about just keeping it nice and easy. Now, if you don't want to do white work, you can leave these and just put some colour in. But I thought, since it's sort of a little bit wintry, with the Christmas tree in, then I thought we could just add a little bit of whiteness. So I'm going to go around. I'm still sticking with the number 4 tool. Okay. Now I've got some little squares or little diamonds here. I think they'd be nice done in white work. Now, because they're smaller, I'm going to go to my number 2 tool. And this time I'm just going to go left and right just to infill, but not too much. There we go. Nice and easy. Then we're going to move around to the next section. Look, we're approaching the Groovi tab, so I know I've nearly gone all the way around. Then I'm going to go to the number 3 tool on this one. Up and down, left and right, round and round. Up and down, left and right, round and round. You'll be saying that out loud to yourself when you're doing this. Linda said that she does as well. So it's not a sign of madness. Well, I don't think it is anyway. And then we've got, look, these tiny little dots in here. Let's bring it over a little bit. There we go. So now I'm going back to the number 2. So the white work that I'm doing on this particular design, you can do this with the tools that you have in your starter kit. So if you're new to the Groovi system, don't think, oh, I've now got to buy this, I've got to buy. You haven't. These tools are perfectly adequate to be able to complete what we're doing because we're just working in tiny areas. So we can see this is where we started and we've gone all the way around, but we can see over here that they're not completely white yet. Because they're a larger area, we need to go back in. So Let's start off on the back again. We're going to start off in the same area. Now I can go back in with the number 2 tool and just do a little bit more if I wanted to, but it's really, at this point, it's not going to make much difference to these little dots. But if you get into a habit of just going back over, then you're just following that process, aren't you? And it doesn't take long because we've only done little areas. Now we're going to work around onto the large one. So we started with the number 4 tool. So this time I'm going to come in with the number 3. Up and down, left and right, left and right, left and right, round and round. So we can see the difference now, how it's now starting to go whiter. Yes. There we go. Going to jump back to the number 2 tool, these little dots. Carry on working our way around. Are you doing any white work on your project? Or are you just going to go with some colour? What do you reckon? So this time I'm going to go with the number 2 tool and go in. We can see that, yeah, look at that. We can really see how it's starting to whiten now. There we go. Nice. So what have you all been up to for the past week while I haven't been here? Been getting crafty, getting ready for your Christmas cards, Christmas shopping. Got your turkey yet? It's funny just listening and watching the news. Just take each day as it comes. Okay, I'm going to go around. So now we're going to go into this area. I'm sticking with the number 2 tool. You can see the difference now, can't you? Yeah. And it doesn't take long for these little areas, but they'll be really effective when we decide to add some colour to our design. It just goes around and infills that area. Yes, it's coming together now. Now, if you've used our rainbow parchment, let's bring that down a little bit. If you use our rainbow parchment, then you don't need to add any colour if you don't want to. You get a beautiful background, and then with the paper intensifiers underneath, it will really make the white work stand out, or just the line art. I'm just going to finish off on these little dots here. There we go, just a little bit. Back to the Groovi tab, so I know if I was doing white work in a larger area, then I'd know that that's where I need to start for my second layer. So let's take that tab off and we'll turn that over, and let's zoom out a little bit now. Stretch, and we're going to zoom out. Nice. Doesn't that make a difference? It does, yes. Let's put it on the black. Wow. Yeah, look, we can really see those little white dots now, can't we? It just makes, if I wanted to, I could put some little white dots on the Christmas tree. Decisions, decisions. Oh, I don't know. Right. Chair's gotten all wonky. So should we put some colour on I know what I'm going to do. I do indeed. I'm going to show you what the lovely ladies got up to. And Ken. I have to keep saying Ken because Ken was there. Let's have a look at this new concept thought up by Lynn Jackson and Linda Williams. I've got my, let's zoom out now. Definitely need to zoom out. Ooh. And out. There we go. Right, I've got mine in a folder. Keep them nice and safe. Okay, so Groovi folder. This is the brand new Frosted Floral Overlay collection. And the lovely Linda illustrated 5 beautiful flowers. We have the amaryllis, the Christmas rose, the fuchsias, the rose, which we were working on the parchment retreat, and the tatty tulip. It's so hard to have a favourite. Oh, I don't know. Should we have a look at one in a little bit more detail? Let's have a look at Christmas rose. Okay. So this is what you're going to get in each of the different packs. Okay. So we open it up, and on the inside, it explains exactly what the frosted overlay technique is. Okay. Then in addition to that, so you've got that, so you keep that in a safe place. We'll come back to that in a moment. For each of the designs, this is magic. Can you see that? You can grab a piece of black card and bring this, oh, actually this might be better. Yes. This is white ink printed on parchment. Very, very clever. And what you're going to get 4 sheets of the flower, the full blooms, whether it be the tatty tulip, the rose, and this is the Christmas rose here. And it's very, very delicate. So this is where we would go back to the traditional parching skills of taking a mapping pen or a white ink pen or pencil and tracing out the design. But this has all been done for you. So you're going to get 4 of the flowers in each pack. Okay, so we've got that. Let's pop that to one side. In addition to that, you're going to get, it's like a little sampler page, but it's a practice sheet, so you can practice your white work and your shadow embossing before you go on to your finished piece. So you've got leaves, you've got flower heads. So all of these have been taken from the actual flower design itself. In addition to that, you're going to get 4 sheets of clear parchment, which will become self-explanatory in a moment. You then get a, ooh, blurry, focus. You then get a printed image on copy paper of the black line art. You also get printed in black line art on parchment. And you get a coloured inspiration sheet to give you some ideas on your colouring, where to put the light, where to put the the shading and everything else. Okay. In addition to that, you then get this fantastic step-by-step instruction by Linda on shadow embossing using the printed parchment. And Linda guides you through step by step the different levels of shadow work, shadow embossing. Okay. You've got a little progress record, so you know what levels that you've done. You get 1 for each of the different designs. And then on the back, this is the practice sheet to show you how to do that as well. So what do we mean by then the frosted floral overlays? What is the purpose of it? Okay, let's just gather all this up so I don't lose this. I'm going to pop it all back in there. Pop that in there. There we go. Let's pop that to, I'll pop it back in the folder at the moment. So what it does is it gives you this frosted effect. And we've got the beautiful line art. There's no shadow embossing done on this part. It's literally exactly how it comes. And then this is a piece created by Lynn Jackson. You've got this beautiful painted artwork. There's no lines to it. For me, it looks like porcelain. And what you're doing is you're creating this on the blank piece of parchment. So that stands alone. The line art stands alone. But when you overlay them on top of one another, let me come in on this one because you'll really see it. Look at that. You've got that beautiful frosted, diffused colour in the background. Because normally we would trace out our line art and then we colour on the back of the parchment. Whereas with this, you've got two different options. I mean, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, so we've got that. So this was the piece that the ladies were working on the retreat last week. And just to show two comparisons, this is the white line art with the beautiful shadow embossing over the top. And then this is the black line art sitting over the top of the colour. The outer frame we'll come to in a moment because this is special as well. But let's break it down into different sections. This, look at that. This is a shadow embossing at its best. And this is what you can achieve with that white line art, because once you've done your shadow embossing, you take an eraser pencil and you rub out the white ink. Let me bring it in on this camera so you can really, I mean, look at that. It is so magical. And Linda guides you through step by step on how you can recreate that. And to have those little practice pieces in there really makes a difference. So rather than go onto your parchment straight away, then, well, says it all really, doesn't it? We have this piece here using the black line art printed on parchment, and just adding a little bit of black and grey pencil in the background gives it that beautiful monochromatic look. Absolutely stunning. And this one is created by the lovely Linda Williams herself. Isn't that beautiful? Beautiful. And then I've just got one more sample to show you. This is the, I love the fuchsias. How elegant does that look? To me, these are pictures rather than cards, because you really would not want to pop this away once you receive it. You'd want to put it on the wall because these are beautiful works of art. And I love the effect of the frosted look of it, but also having the option to have just the frosted version, just the colour version, or both together. Beautiful. Now, I was looking at these designs, these frames, because the lovely, oh no, hang on, before we talk about the frames, let me just show you these bits. This is a piece of Linda's scrap. When we was at the retreat, I was showing people how to assemble their finished piece, and I said to Linda, oh, have you got bits that you're not really sort of happy with? Not really happy with. Really, Linda? And Linda would give me these pieces like this and say, oh yeah, here you go, you can use this one. Look at that. And if I take, let me just grab the roses pack. I put them in alphabetical order. So let me grab that out of the folder. And if I take the coloured piece of artwork that comes in with the design, and I pop that underneath, and you've got these little guide marks, so you know that you can line it up perfectly. Look at that. You too can do this. That is just, so it works the colour, because you can achieve the colour. You've got the frosted, but then combined, you've got that beautiful overlay look. Janet would love Linda scrap. Yeah, so would I, Linda. Janet. So that's, I just wanted to show you those bits. But now let's have a look at these frames. Super duper Josie Davidson, Queen of the Grids, designed 2 new embossed pattern grids, okay, for the retreat. A straight one and a diagonal one. So this is using the straight grid in conjunction with our perforating grids. Okay, so let's have a look at them. We have the straight grid here. So it's an A4 square plate, instant frames, just emboss the dots out, job done. You've got some little borders in there, and then you've got corners. Now, whether you use those corners and then add the borders, whether you use them as photo corners, entirely up to you. And this is how Josie has created, if I just lay that over the top, it's coming on this one. Let's have a look. Really that way. So if I take that, let's turn the plate the right way over and line that up, you'll see it's just a series of tracing out the dots. That's all it is. And then if you use the perforating grids, you can then perforate either side around the dots to do the picot cutting or a little bit of snipping, entirely up to you. So that is the straight one. Okay, you've got this sort of real nice checkerboard effect at the bottom. And then you've got the diagonal one. And I think diagonal for me is more decorative, but that's just my personal choice. I love these sort of like the flower effects and the diamonds. And when you look at the plate, there is so much crammed in on these. And yeah, absolutely amazing. Josie's diagonal embossed frames and corners. So there we go. That's what we got up to at the Parchment Retreat last week. And we've got all these available, and they'll be appearing on the craft store in November on the Pergamano show. But we've got them available on our website. As I say, Barb did a blog showcasing the beautiful colouring. She's got loads of the roses all coloured in. And to me, just the colouring side of it takes it to another level. And there was a few little sort of tips and tricks on how to get that beautiful colour blend so that it didn't go into sort of like a muddy colour. Whew, yes. I think I need to drop a coffee after that. Lovely new cup from the, it sort of clashes a bit, doesn't it? It clashes with this shirt. But this is a lovely present from Carol Baker. Thank you, Carol. Okay. So let's go back to our piecework. Hopefully that's allowed you to sort of catch up a bit, and it'd be great to see what you've done on Groovi Worldwide. So we've got choices now when it comes to colouring, whether we want to colour the background and leave the reef sort of clear, just put some colour in the hills and the tree, or whether we want to just spotlight. It's all about what you feel more comfortable with. Okay. So we've got choices when it comes to colouring in. We can use our Pergaliner pencils, or we can use our Pergacolor pens. So let's do a little bit of both, I think. Shall we? Yes, why not? Okay. So what we're going to do, I'm going to zoom in a little bit now. I can't believe where the time is going this morning. So I'm going to zoom in. Let me just, I've got a sign in front of me that says, move the lever to the right and it will come in, and move the lever to the left and it will go outwards. Because 50-50, I'm bound to get it wrong. Okay, let's have a little looky. I'm going to get my Pergacolor pens out. So I've got mine in my folder. So I want a really nice green. Now there's loads of different greens in the Perga colour pens. So I'm going to take all 4 of those out. Well, there's 5. I'm going to take all 5 out. And what I'm going to do, before I colour in, I'm going to decide, I need to test which green I want to go with. So I'm going to take a piece of parchment and I'm going to have a look at the colours. So I've got that colour, which is number 18. Then, whoops, I've got this colour, which is a nice pine green. So it's number 17. Then I've got a brighter green, which is number 16. Then I've got a dark pine green, which is number 15. And then randomly, right at the end, I've got number 30. Now, which green should I go for? I quite like this second one. What do you think? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I reckon I'm going to go with number 2, which is number 17. Let me just check that I've got the right one, that they didn't roll about. Yes, number 17. Now, I want to colour a large area. And from personal experience, when you're working with a dark colour in a larger area on parchment, it can go a little bit sort of patchy. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my mix mat. So this is the mix mat for water. I'm not going to add any water because parchment really doesn't like it. And I'm going to scribble out onto my mix mat. Then I'm going to take my water brushes. Now there's no water in these, there never has been, so I know that these have never been moist with water. Okay, and I'm going to use that to pick up the colour. Now before I go on to my piece, I just want to test. Yes, that's just what I want. So I'm going to pick up my colour now and I'm going to start to add some colour to my trees. Now we've done this before and it's really magical because let's get a bit of white paper, white bit of card so we can see. There we go, we can see how it's now. It's a different, it softens down the colour. Now it's hard to colour in with the white card underneath, but I can pick up. But what this is doing, it's allowing me so that I don't get blotches. See? So I can get a nice, smooth colour. And then I can pick up some more ink. I mean, I could do this in all different shades of green. I mean, there's 5 different shades of green. So I could do each section in a different colour green if I wanted to. Or you could go any colour you want to. If you're Jane Telford, you could have a nice pink tree. Or if you wanted to go sort of more wintry, you could do some beautiful blues. There's some really nice colours in the Perga colour pens. But by using the water brush with no water at all, it really does move the colour around nicely. Okay, and with these fine tips, I can get right in to the tips of the trees. And come in underneath. Now it doesn't matter at this stage, because I'm doing it all the same colour. I could go over these white lines in the middle because it won't affect the front because we're working on the back of our parchment. Okay. Yes, dear Jane, I do know you well with a lovely pink tree. Always tell when we get samples in from the design team, there's always a lovely pink one from Jane. It's Jane's trademark. So I'm going to scribble out some more ink onto my mix mat. Going to pick up. So I think on this one, I'm going to do a combination of pencil and pens. So next week, I think what we'll do is we'll have a look at pencils, and I'll use the pencils maybe on the heels in the background, and then we can use the pens on the frame, or maybe not. I may have forgotten what I've said we're doing next week by the time it comes to next week. But let's have a look. We can start to see now how our tree is building up in colour. Do you have a preference for colouring in? I mean, for me, pencils are always more forgiving. If you're new to colouring in, then the pergolina pencils are great, because if you do make a mistake or you go over the edge, you can rub them out with our eraser pencils. The pens are less forgiving, but saying that, if you use it with the water brush with no water in, then they are more forgiving than going direct onto the parchment. Wrong end. So we just scribble out that colour. See, in the mix mat, it's a great palette. I mean, I could combine several colours on the mix mat and use the brush to blend those colours, mix those colours together, so it becomes like a mixing palette. And what you'll notice is that the larger the area, the more I'm going back to pick up colour. But I can really get into the tips of those trees. I love it. I love how with the pens and the water brush, how you can get a beautiful softer tone of that colour. It really is magical. So what else have I got to tell you this week? It seems like it's sort of like a news update, isn't it? It's been such a while. Well, 2 weeks ago. So we had our fantastic parchment retreat. Tomorrow at 3 p.m. on Facebook Live and YouTube, Barb is back with a Moment of Clarity pop-up Christmas shop. Some beautiful stamps, some of the sort of real Clarity classics, reconfigured, reinvented. Not reinvented, that's not the right word. Yeah, it's so at 3 o'clock, a fantastic pop-up shop on Facebook, A Moment of Clarity. More information will be available on the website later today. So we've got that tomorrow at 3 o'clock, Facebook and YouTube Live. Then on Thursday, it's back in the Shack with Barb at 10 a.m. And then on Friday, Barb's back on the craft store at 9 o'clock and 1 o'clock. So it's a busy old week. Who said it was no rest for the wicked? There isn't here at Clarity. I can tell you that for sure. But sometimes it's good to be wicked. In a nice way, obviously. I could just go on colouring and colouring and colouring. So now, when I turn this over, we've got that bridge. A little bit dark there, but it doesn't matter. I can go in and I can still move that around. There we go. Look at that. See, it starts to come together. And then when you bring the designer papers into play, it changes the way it looks as well. Let me just get, I think I'm going to go. Ooh, do we go? Let's have a look at Amazonia designer papers. So just a quick look. Just a quick look. See, normally I pick my paper before I add my colour. There you go, you can really see that green coming out. See, this is quite a nice one from Amazonia. Beautiful greens, that would work really well. And you've got that side. Really? Ah, that's nice. See, that's one of the great things about having them in folders, that you can just flick through. Oh, I need more of that one. Oh, I don't know. That's quite nice as well. That one. Sometimes you need. Oh, look at that, the lakey one. See, I could get away with that. There's the lake in the background. I could move it over. So by next week, I'll decide what background paper I'm going to put in the background, hence being called background paper. So that's from Amazonia, but I really like the Antarctica as well. Oh, I don't know. Antarctica. Let's have a look. Or White May Falls, maybe. Let's have a quick looky in here. See, that's nice, but it's a little bit light. That works. That's quite nice. A little bit of pink, too light really. Want something a little bit darker. That works. That's quite moody. Ooh, I don't know. I don't know. I will have made my decision by next Tuesday. Let's think what day it was. How can I forget what day it was next week? I will decide by next Tuesday what background I'm going to put behind my tree, and then I'll choose my colours for the wreath based on my background. See, that's nice. Oh, I don't know. Antarctica, Amazonia. See, that's ooh. Right, I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop. Oh, that's nice as well. Right. I'm stopping. Let's put it back on the shelf. So I hope you've enjoyed today. I know I have. And when we built that wreath the other week, it was really, you know, sometimes when you do something and you don't realize where you're sort of, I knew roughly where I was heading, but I didn't have 100% plan. And the feedback of coming through from the chat, let's try this, let's try that. And sometimes you just need to have an hour or so of just trying different things. Because at the end of the day, I've always said it's a piece of parchment. And you can adapt from what you've done. So if you think, oh, I like that, but maybe I should have left this bit out, maybe I should have included this bit. But have a look at the plates that you've already got in your stash, because there will be so many different elements that you can pick and choose, like the Christmas trees, the beautiful hearts from Linda Williams, the gnomes, the feel-good gnomes. Perfect. But there were so many different elements on those gnomes as well. There was snowflake. I could have used the snowflakes to infill that wreath as well. So I hope you've enjoyed this week. You've got me for one more week next week. And then the following week on the 9th of November, lovely Linda Williams hopefully would have recovered from the parchment retreat. And we'll be back in the Pergamano school with the multi-needle tools. Don't forget, tomorrow at 3 o'clock on Facebook and YouTube Live is a Moment of Clarity pop-up Christmas shop with Barbara. Thursday is the Shack Shack at 10 o'clock with Barbara. And then Friday, Barbara's a busy bee this week. And then on Friday at 9 o'clock and 1 o'clock live on the craft store. So I hope you can join us. If you can't, then don't forget you can always watch on Catch Up. And I will see you all next week. Thank you for joining me, and enjoy the rest of your week. Take care now, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.